15 seconds to save a foster child. 14-year-old Puerto Rican-born Nicole Jackson Maldonado has been in congregate care since she was 7. She recently escaped First United Methodist Children's Home in Florida with a friend, broke into a home, had a shootout with police, was shot in the chest. She's being tried as an adult with a mandatory...
Raw dogging is not funny. This is a serious
Welcome
matter.
to Raw Dog News.
Raw
Today
dogging
we are
is a term
tackling a
that is
pretty serious subject.
And it means unprotected.
As you heard, this young lady, 14-year-old Nicole Maldonado, escaped from Florida Methodist Children's Home with a 12-year-old boy, broke into a home and had a shootout with the police, and she was shot twice. Now, the Florida Department of Children and Families is saying that any violence against law enforcement and any actions that threaten public safety will not be tolerated. The sheriff, on the other hand, is calling the home a failure. The sheriff's department was called out to the Florida Methodist Children's Home over 300 times in 2020 alone. The sheriff goes on to say, what the hell is the Department of Justice doing sending these kids to places that can't handle them? Now, the residents near this home say that they're used to seeing runaway kids hiding in boats and cars, and that most of these kids are not problematic or concerning, but now they are rightfully concerned after this incident. So, this leads me to a few questions. One, if there are constant runaways, and two, if the residents know that there are literally homeless children in boats and cars, and amazingly aren't too worried, and three, the sheriff, oftentimes the department who physically transfers these children to the facilities, and it's plural because this is all around the country and the world, folks. What the hell is going on at this home? Attorney David Haas says, not every child will get better at these halfway houses and group homes. Some get worse. He then calls these kids incredibly violent. You see the disconnection with the statement from the residents and the sheriff? The residents are fine with these children in their environment in cars and boats. Remember, this girl is 14 and the boy's 12. Were they violent? She's been in congregate group home care since she was 7. They escaped. Was the escape a violent escape, this 14-year-old girl and 12-year-old boy? We don't know. The home says that they are a child welfare facility, not a secure care facility, and that all of this is a result of the system failing the children. Okay, so were these two children in need of some higher level of care for some specific reason and were wrongly placed here? And how long were they both there at this particular home? And what's the record? What happened there? Why are kids constantly escaping? And if it's simply housing for kids without parents or bad parents or whatever the case is, and not a care facility, what's going on? There appears to be this disconnection from the lawyer and the facility. The kids are violent and some get worse, as opposed to, we don't treat kids, we just house them. Having to read between the lines is so wasteful and such bad journalism. Poorly written stories that don't examine what people say to obtain a deeper, real meaning lead to ignorance of the truth, and that is actually very serious. It's a very serious mission of Raw Dog News, what we do here. It's not a joke. You know, we try to be humorous at times, but there's a real problem with with journalism and reporting that actually leads to exacerbating these kinds of things. I mean, the entire history of the troubled teen industry is filled with this kind of poor reporting, and it gets kids killed. Free Nicole Maldonado. My friend Miranda from the Troubled podcast writes, Nicole is a foster child who has been in residential group homes and troubled teen industry facilities since she was 7. She escaped the last one with her 12-year-old friend, broke into a house, and used the guns they found there in a standoff with the police. She was shot in the chest and arm and is now being tried as an adult for attempted murder. Please support these children. The system broke them, and now it's going to lock up the evidence and lose the key. These children were failed by the system. Don't let them get away with it. Now, cashiers, checks, or money orders must have sender's name and address, no personal checks, mail to the jail, or drop box on site. Here's the address. Nicole Jackson, inmate number 10-87-471. Volusia County Corrections, 1354 Indian Lake Road, Daytona Beach, Florida, 32124. I'm Marcus from Raw Dog News. Thanks for listening.
15 seconds to save a foster child. 14-year-old Puerto Rican-born Nicole Jackson Maldonado has been in congregate care since she was 7. She recently escaped First United Methodist Children's Home in Florida with a friend, broke into a home, had a shootout with police, was shot in the chest. She's being tried as an adult with a mandatory.
It's considered slang, and it means unprotected.
Raw Dog News.